Dear, I didn't...
Mrs. Spencer, quick, let me out. You got shot? No, I've seen a ghost. You've seen what? A ghost. It was here, a woman, pale and silent, with great black eyes. She looked at me.
It too. It's the new governor doing her night round.
But she just disappeared.
Some as wish she would.
I'll leave you to deal with this. It only needs an acknowledgement.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Radley.
I think I ought to warn you that you started a new legend last night, thanks to old Effie Parker.
Oh?
The Phantom Lady of Stone Park.
I was only checking on the night patrols.
Yes, I know.
I intend to carry out frequent spot checks in these first months.
Well, I think you'll find everything running normally.
Quite possibly. But I'd like to see for myself exactly what happens here, rather than what is supposed to happen. Did you want to see me about something?
Nothing specific.
Well, I am rather busy. After I've finished with the post, I have to see the works officer. I'll let you know when I'm available.
It has been the custom for you, the assistant governors and myself, to have a meeting in the
I
course
see
of...
no point in meetings until I've made a complete inspection of the establishment. But I would like to speak to all the staff sometime today. I'll let you know when I'm free.
Yes. Well, I'll wait to hear from you then.
Thank you. I'd like to look into this one. I'll answer it myself.
Dismissed. In front of the bloody admin officer, sent out of her office like a naughty schoolboy.
No welcome mat for our Charles.
Yeah, I'd committed the cardinal sin of not booking an audience with her Imperial Majesty. The sheer flaming egotism of the woman. She must have spoken, what, 8, 9 sentences? I wish I had 10p for every time she used the personal pronoun.
Well, she is the governor.
And I'm her deputy.
Precisely. She's the boss. It has to be so from the beginning.
Look, nobody's denying that.
No, well, maybe not, but you really ought to see it from her point of view. She's been given total responsibility for this place. And for everybody in it. She's moving into a community that's very close-knit. Its own patterns, its own loyalties.
Well, if she wants loyalty, she better start proving that she's worth giving it to.
No, I don't think that's her way. See, at the moment, the one person that she's sure of is herself. So I think that she's going to stay detached, impartial, so that her professional judgment won't be affected.
Well, what is she then? Some kind of computer? She has to deal with people here, not machines.
Charles, my boy, you're miffed because you breezed into her office this morning to tell her that one of the night orderlies thought she was a spook, and you expected her to laugh.
Well, of course.
As Faye would have done.
Exactly. Now, she'd have seen the funny side of it at once.
Mrs. Forrester is not Faye, and it's useless to approach her in the same way. You're going to have to get to know her, and that will take time.
Yes, but Pete,
all right, nurse,
all...
wheel the first one in. I'm sorry, Charles, you'll have to excuse me. I've got a very long list this morning. And I'm not dismissing you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening to me sound off anyway. I dare say you're right.
I know I am.
Well, see you at the staff meeting.
When we're summoned. All right, Beanie, in you come. Take a pew. Old hip bothering you again, is it?
Not you bloody care. Bloody puff.
Hey, Miss Parrish, what
do you make of her? Come on, the new governor, Mrs. Forrester.
I think she's the best thing that's happened to Stone Park for years.
You're joking.
No, I'm not, Miss Harker.
Well, how can you say that?
I've studied her record. She's earned her promotion by ability. She's held a variety of positions in the service, each one tougher than the last.
The last was governor of a closed ball stall.
Which was a model of efficiency, precisely what is needed in a security prison like this.
Thank you.
Here, miss, what's she like, the phantom lady?
If you mean the new governor, she's very nice.
Oh, I wanted to make an application to see her, but I had to go medical on account of me hip.
What did you want to see her about?
Well, a new governor's like a new landlord, isn't she? Got to give the customers good measure to start, eh?
I wouldn't bet on it, Binny.
Not with the queue there is, anyhow. You're best out of it today.
That's true. First in will do all right, but then at the end will likely get a flea in their ear.
Very well. 3 days loss of privilege.
Oh, madam, have a heart. I told you I only dropped them.
The officer on duty in the kitchen saw you drop 2 oranges and deliberately kick them under the sink. There's little doubt in my mind you meant to steal them.
2 lousy oranges.
If it weren't for that slight element of doubt, your punishment would be more severe. And I promise you I shan't be so lenient if you're put on report again.
Right, take her out.
The amount of pilfering that goes on here. The works officer's report was appalling.
My officers do their best to keep it down, madam.
I'm not blaming anyone, Mrs. Armitage, merely saying it must be stopped.
Yes, madam. Next.
Thank you.
Well, that's the last of the reports, madam. There's an exceptionally large number of women who've made applications to see the governor this morning. A lot of them will be becoming the old soldier, trying to wangle something out of you.
I'm aware of that, Mrs. Armitage. I doubt if they'll manage it.
You shouldn't imagine so, madam.
Come in.
Can you spare a minute, Doctor?
Well, a minute is a pretty fair estimate, Miss Clark. Hold the next one, will you?
Busy?
About 400 or so women up in an enclosed space, and the mixture of real psychosomatic and pretend illnesses that they come up with would make young Marcus Welby's hair curl. Now, what can I do for you? Remember that I'm not Speedy Gonzales, and 30 of your seconds are almost up.
You're an idiot.
It's not like you to have spare time, Liz. Are things slack in welfare?
Never. But I didn't know if the new governor wanted a meeting this morning, so I shifted most of my appointments to this afternoon.
Well, that was very sensible.
That's why I wanted to see you. It's getting so late, I don't think I'll be able to make lunch.
Oh. Would you set off for dinner tonight?
Oh, I'd settle.
Good.
I'll let you get on.
How long will Mrs. Forrester be?
Well, the queue of applications is still halfway around the centre.
Louise Talbot. First offence in for shoplifting. Application to see the governor. Next.
Talbot Louise, 59742, madam.
Why did you want to see me, Mrs. Talbot?
I wanted to... Well, I know I've asked before.
You'll have to speak up, I'm afraid.
Sorry, madam. I wanted to ask permission to write an extra letter.
Why?
I want to write to my husband.
But why? I can't give permission without sufficient reason.
I haven't heard from him for over a month.
Talbot was given permission to write an extra letter only last week, madam.
He didn't reply.
So you've been writing regularly to your husband and he's stopped answering, is that it?
I begged him just a line, anything. When I took those things, he was so... But he forgave me. He said he forgave me.
I see.
And now he's stopped writing to me. And he didn't come and see me last visiting day. He didn't even send a word.
You do realise you'll have to pay for the stamp yourself. Even at second-class rates, that's about 1/6 of your weekly pay here.
Yes, madam.
Is there anyone who knows both you and your husband? Anyone who might know why he hasn't written?
Well, there's his sister. my sister-in-law, Marge.
Very well. Permission granted. But I suggest you write to your sister-in-law, explaining your concern and asking her to speak to him for you.
Yes, madam.
Right, that's all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Next. That's Sarah Lang. It's the first offence.
I want to talk to you about...
Give your name and number to the governor.
Sarah Lang, 70317. Madam, I wish to complain of a gross miscarriage of justice.
And what is that, Miss Lang?
Until this week, I shared with a friend on South Wing, a dear young friend. She is to be released soon, and yet the assistant governor has seen fit to move her to another cell, to deprive us deliberately of each other's company for these last weeks.
Oh, that is something you'll have to take up with Miss Parrish.
She wouldn't even listen. It's victimization. Shirley made my life...
I warn you, if you specifically accuse Miss Parrish, there will have to be an investigation. And if your allegation isn't proved, you will lose a considerable part of your remission. So, think very carefully before you say anything. Very well. If you have nothing further to add.
Nothing, madam.
Right, that's all. Oh, that was the best way to handle her, madam.
You think so?
Oh, yes. She clearly has an obsession about this girl. Quite a pretty little thing. But Sarah Lang could be a very bad influence on her.
Oh?
Well, she may look like a traffic warden, but she was convicted for running a group of massage parlours as a cover for prostitutes.
What about the girl herself? How has she reacted to their being split up?
No idea, madam.
Well, I'll look into it. Oh, it's after 12. Would you tell the deputy and the assistant governors I shall be in my office?
Yes, of course, madam. I know they're all waiting for you. I dare say they'll have quite a few points to bring up.
No doubt. I shall have some things to say myself.
Here we are, then.
And about time. We've all got work to do.
Thank you. Yes, it's complete. Yes. Because I shall want to speak to Mr. Redmond. Oh, good. Now we're all here, we can begin.
Oh, Dr. Mays isn't here yet.
Oh, we shan't wait.
It is usual for the senior medical officer to be present.
I told both Dr. Mays and the chaplain they need not attend if they were busy.
I see. Well, just before we start, I would like, on behalf of us all, to welcome Mrs. Forrester to Stone Park.
Here, here.
And to assure her that while we may not look the most dynamic team in the field, we are willing and we do try hard.
Thank you. And I must apologise for calling this meeting so late today.
Well, you did have an exceptionally large number of applications this morning, madam.
It was like the first day of the sales.
Yes. Now, I know it's been the custom to hold these meetings every day, and I've decided to continue with them for the time being. I believe they can be valuable, provided they're not allowed to turn into coffee breaks or professional slanging matches.
Well, it has been known.
If I may continue, Miss Harker. Today, since it is so late, I don't propose to have a general discussion, but to leave you with a few thoughts of my own for you to consider until we meet again.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, Governor. I had one or two fairly urgent points.
So did I. I shall be speaking to each one of you in the course of the next 2 days. Now, as you know, in these past weeks I've been here several times as an observer. And in the last few days I've examined the work of all departments in more detail. I've reached certain conclusions. They are these. As a security prison, Stone Park is at present slackly and inefficiently run. I make no individual criticism. It all stems from the fact, I believe, that no clear-cut policy has been laid down. Relations between the staff and inmates are over-permissive. This is especially true as regards the uniformed staff, but all departments suffer from the same disease. I ask you all to remember that familiarity leads to uncertainty and a potential breakdown in discipline. Also, I find that heads of departments and assistant governors rely too heavily on the governor's office for decisions and advice. The ultimate responsibility does lie with this office, yes, but much more could be achieved if all assistant governors made their own day-to-day decisions without feeling the need for consultation. I believe that a positive attitude and an acceptance of personal authority by all assistant governors is not only more efficient, it is, in the final analysis, more helpful to the women in our charge. Thank you. That is all. If you wouldn't mind waiting a few moments, Mrs. Armitage. Oh, and if Mr. Radley, would you stay too, please?
I feel I must protest, madam, at the criticism of my staff.
I made no individual criticism.
No, but the implication was that the uniformed staff is inefficient.
That was not
I would submit there is no finer or more capable group of officers in the country.
I do not dispute that, but I have talked to many of them, and it seems to me that with a changing attitude towards punishment and reform, they are uncertain of what actual role they have to play. Now, isn't that so?
Yes, that may be,
but all
only
I want to do is end that uncertainty. Let them know where they stand and what is expected of them. I believe they'd welcome it.
If it's possible, yes.
Well, that is up to us, isn't it? Now, I wanted to ask, would you be available to continue our rounds after lunch?
Yes, madam.
Fine. Well, I'll let you know when I'm ready.
Very good, madam.
I must say, you certainly flung the cat among the pigeons.
I hope so.
You said some pretty hard things. Well, maybe some of them were justified. Maybe we have gone in for collective decisions here. That's our way.
Quite possibly. But it isn't mine, Mr. Radley.
Perhaps the proof that we're not considered too much as failures is the respect shown by the Home Office for the achievements of your predecessor.
In fact, she has been promoted to Deputy Director of Women's Prisons and is, technically speaking, my boss. Is that what you're saying? I think you ought to know, Mr. Radley, that I have a great admiration for Mrs. Boswell. None of my remarks were intended as a criticism of her.
Only of her methods as interpreted by those of us who worked with her.
We have discussed the matter in some detail, and she understands that although we both hope for the same results, our methods are rather different.
I meant what I said, you know. They're a good team. You'll find they're very able and adaptable. I think they'll back you once they get to know you.
That's all I ask, Mr. Radley. And the least I would expect. Now, perhaps we can go over these estimates from the works officer.
Oh, by the way, we haven't settled yet what I'm to call you. Is it to be Mrs. Forrester or Helen?
Oh, I think for the moment, Governor will do, don't you? Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, here, grab that. Yeah, baby cage.
Yeah, who wants their little dolly then?
Right, Smith. Yeah, quick, come on.
Yeah, look, it's your dolly.
Stop that, you two. Give it back to her. Go on. It's all right, Shirley. They're only teasing you. Now, don't let me catch you at that again. You know it upsets her.
Oh, Meg. This is Mrs. Spencer, madam. She's the principal officer of Northwood.
We've already met. I thought you were on night duty, Mrs. Spencer.
Yes, I am, madam, but I tried to come in a bit earlier since we're so short of staff. No peace for the wicked.
The girl's supposed to be working. She shouldn't have a toy with her.
Well, she's a bit simple, madam. She's more easily manageable if we let her keep the doll with her. She's Shirley Phillips, who used to share with the woman Lang.
Oh, yes. I'm glad you reminded me.
That's a storeroom, madam.
Oh.
Of course, if you would like it opened.
No, no. Actually, I thought it led through to the hospital wing.
It is a bit confusing. First week I was here, no matter which way I went, I always ended up back at the centre.
Well, which way is the hospital wing?
It's down there, madam.
Oh, thank you. Would you meet me in Miss Parrish's office in about 15 minutes?
Very good, madam.
Sarah Lang, a tall, rather brusque woman in her late 30s.
Yes, I remember. A mite aggressive, you could say.
She reminds me of a headmistress I used to have.
Poor you. No, apart from her entrance examination and the regulation checkups, I've had no dealings with her.
So she's quite normal?
Like they used to say in the Brains Trust, depends what you mean by normal.
Disturbed?
Well, she's a mass of neuroses, but not more so than many. Physically, she's as strong as a horse.
Now, what can you tell me about Shirley Phillips? She's much younger, about 18.
Yes, I know Shirley. I don't have to look her up, poor kid. She's semi-retarded.
I see.
Yes, nature played a pretty dirty trick on Shirley. Gave her the body of a very attractive woman and the mind of a child. She's been abused by men and women since she was about 12, which is slightly more than her mental age.
Well, why wasn't she recommended for an open prison?
Well, she'd hardly have benefited very much. She's only serving 6 months. And then again, the medical facilities are better here. She's asthmatic.
I, for one, welcome that approach. I'm sick and tired of being looked on as a dinosaur simply because I believe in discipline.
Well, she certainly got through reports in record times, and with stiffer awards than we've been used to.
You see? She knows how quickly the women take advantage, and pretty soon it's impossible to keep control.
The trouble is, I hadn't realised quite how much my own attitude to punishment had changed. I don't think it is the only way.
But of course it isn't.
Now, I don't mean softness and letting people off, but there has to be some flexibility. I'd like to see a lot more of that in her. And I don't think I'm prepared to go back to the old days. Not just to be in a walking key ring.
Well, I think she speaks our language.
Well, I hope so. Hey, look out, here she comes.
What was it she wanted to see me about?
Sarah Lang and the Phillips girl.
Oh, no, that's quite good. I hope I'm not inconveniencing you.
Not at all, Governor.
Did the chief tell you why I wanted to see you?
Yes. And I must say I'm delighted.
Oh?
The decision to separate Lang and Phillips wasn't mine. It came from...
The previous governor, madam.
I'd like your permission to let them share again.
Are you serious?
What is your objection, Mrs. Armitage?
Oh, well, Miss Parrish knows them best, of course. But you've seen the Lang woman. Can anyone think that she's a fit companion for a defenceless, highly suggestible girl? Surely Phillips needs care and protection.
That's what Sarah gives her. She protects her from the other women.
Oh, Shirley is in here for casual prostitution. Sarah Lang will protect her right into a room in one of her brothels.
That isn't even possible. Shirley gets out in another 2 weeks. Sarah, not for at least 2 years.
Go on.
Well, you only had to see them together. Shirley has a humanizing effect on Sarah, who treats her like a younger sister, and is strong enough to prevent the other women bullying her or interfering with her.
Yeah, well, that's true, but
Any
all the same...
objection to the relationship is pure prejudice. I don't see it as harmful at all.
You may be right, Miss Parrish. Whether they should ever have been put together in the first place, that's another matter. But I'm not so concerned about the girl as I am about the older woman.
How, Governor?
Well, from what I've seen of Shirley, nothing that happens affects her very deeply.
I suppose not.
Whereas Sarah Lang is dependent on her. I don't suppose she's made any other friends.
None at all.
So when Shirley is released, the wrench will be considerable. Especially as she has much longer to serve.
Yes.
Therefore, wouldn't it be better if she got used more gradually to being on her own? Now, I don't want to impose a decision on you, but you see what I'm suggesting.
Of course, Governor. Shirley will be transferred to another wing at once.
She's all yours. Thank you.
You wait here for a moment.
Well, well, well. Lollipop. And what's your name?
Shirley
Shirley what? Shirley Temple?
Phillips.
Yeah, hot lips, more like it.
Oh, I
if this split you up from your playmate? Well, don't worry. We'll look after you.
She'll have to share, preferably with someone near her own age.
Might be best.
There's Babs.
Babs Ryan?
Well, it might be what Babs needs. Give her someone to look after.
It would be leading a lamb to the slaughter. I know you try to help everyone, Miss Harker, but...
Oh, I suppose you're right. Well, what about Louise Talbot?
Well, she wouldn't mistreat her.
Even if she stopped crying long enough to know she was there.
You don't look a bit glum. Something gone wrong?
I've just found out that in spite of what she says, the new governor is as determined to make all the decisions as the old one.
Do you expect anything else? Is there something I can do?
No, thank you. I've had enough interference for one day.
What you doing? Go away. Get away. Don't you touch me. What are you trying to do?
I thought you wanted... I was only trying to be nice.
Yes. It's all right. All right now. There. It's all right now. Come on. Get you into bed. Up you get. Just a minute. There we go. Careful. That's right. Now then. You'll be all right.
Thought you didn't like me.
Of course I like you. You're a nice girl.
Pretty.
Very pretty.
Mandy. Where's Mandy? Mandy. Sarah given me.
Everything quiet, Mrs. Spencer?
As usual, madam. You're working late, madam.
I'll have a lot to catch up on. What about you? Doesn't your husband mind you working nights?
He's been dead for some years.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. You get over it. You have to.
Yes. Do you have any children?
2 boys. Only one's at home now, and he's just become a teacher, so he doesn't need much looking after. I could be wrong, of course. What about you, madam? Do you have a family?
No. Because of my husband's career, we decided to wait and...
It's only old Effie Parker, madam.
Oh, yes. No doubt relieved to know that I am flesh and blood.
No doubt.
Well, good night. What is her background?
Effie's? She's a retired officer, madam, like most of the night orderlies.
I see. Well, thank you. Good night.
Good night, madam.
What's she snooping about for?
Not snooping, just looking round.
And you got a home to go to?
Well, not much of one. Only the governor's flat in the grounds. She's a widow. Her husband was killed in the army.
Oh, during the war?
Later, I think, in Malaya.
You'd think she won't get shot of this place after a long day.
I think this is home to her now. I get the feeling maybe she's a bit lonely.
I know you're there. I've been waiting. I've got something to show you. Come on. You're there, aren't you? Of course you are. You want to see me, don't you? Come on. Have you brought me something? A couple of facts? A bar of chocolate? Well, you like watching me, so it's only fair. Can't bring you no more. It's too dangerous. Oh, yes, you can, Mrs. Nosy Bloody Barker. You spy on me. That's how you get your kicks, isn't it? Well, just suppose, I was to tell the governor about your nasty little habits, eh? So, you just bring me them facts, do you hear? Every night you're on. Otherwise I'll make sure you get busted, you creepy old perv.
Thank you, Miss Carter. Hello, Shirley.
Stand up when the governor speaks to you.
That's a pretty doll.
It name's Mandy. Sarah given me.
Very pretty. Don't let me disturb you. Just seen Shirley Phillips outside. Is she settling in?
Yes, very well, Governor.
Why isn't she working, Miss Harker?
Well, it doesn't seem fair to put her on cleaning every day.
Well, that's all she's capable of.
Oh, she shouldn't be in a place like this at all.
Still, she should have something to occupy her. What about the library?
The library?
I'm quite serious. The red band there needs help moving the books and dusting. Shouldn't tax Shirley. It might even stimulate her.
Yes, Governor. I'll send her over after lunch.
It's just time for applications now, Governor.
Are there just as many as yesterday?
Oh, yes, just as many.
It may ease off after this morning.
Next.
Dixon, Beanie, 84.
Oh, 497. Application to see the governor.
What you doing here?
I'm taking applications this morning, Beanie.
You?
What can I do for you?
You can do bloody nothing. Oh, just my bloody luck. Too bloody late, as bloody usual.
Nobody wants to support the second division, it seems.
I saw Louise Talbot's name in the Letters Withheld book. Who is it from?
Her husband.
I'm in charge of the letters at the moment, madam. It was very unpleasant, telling her he was going to get a divorce.
On what grounds?
Mainly that she wasn't a fit wife for someone like him.
There was a lot of stuff about the shame she brought on them by her dishonesty.
I see. How she reacted?
She doesn't know yet.
Well, why not?
Well, I'm trying to find the right moment to tell her. It's difficult. She's very emotional.
I think you'd find that most women would be in her situation.
Well, she's in with Shirley Phillips. It could cause a great deal of harm. You see...
I understand your reluctance, Miss Harker, but it is the woman's right to be told, and to be told as soon as possible.
That's all he said.
Well, there were some other remarks.
Remarks. He wants rid of me, that's all.
He may have been under a nervous strain when he wrote it. Perhaps he'll change his mind. Of course, I don't know what relations were like between you.
My marriage's been over for years. I just wouldn't face up to it. He was always so critical. I tried everything to please him, but he found fault with everything. Then he started staying out at the pub most evenings. Didn't get drunk or beat me up. He just didn't seem to want to come home. You see, when I stole that perfume and the necklace, I didn't really want it. I suppose I just hoped that he'd feel sorry for me.
Did you get yourself caught deliberately?
I must have. I kept wanting to see his face when he'd heard I'd been arrested.
Did your solicitor bring this out at the trial?
Didn't tell him.
Are you all right?
Yes, madam. It's true what you said. It's best to know the worst. There isn't anything left to be afraid of now.
I've been staying in my room because I didn't like the company. Do you know what I mean? You're different. You and me are friends. Tell you what, would you like to come and see my room? I've got some great pictures.
Interrupting?
No, Liz, come in.
I just see Mrs. Forrester.
How exciting for you.
Do I sense disapproval? I gather Louise knows about her husband.
Yes. The governor's duty. She didn't trust me to tell her.
Did she say that?
She obviously thinks I haven't enough experience to cope.
Oh, why would she think that? Have you tried to talk to her?
Of course. I can't get through to her. As far as she's concerned, there's only one right method, and that's hers.
Oh, she certainly seems very positive. Hey, that's not a bad thing. It's early days. She hasn't been here a week yet. Heard from Richard lately?
He rang last night. I'd written him a silly, sort of sorry for myself letter.
Did he want to sweep you away on a big white horse?
Something like that. Oh, Liz, I wish I knew. I always said I'd never give up my career for him, but now...
You're ready to change your mind?
Well, I wish I knew what to do for the best.
I reckon to set up a house this year for Christmas, which will be, with the Helen Forrester bear. Well, I don't think it's going to work, because I've got to get the okay from it. I don't know. Forrester, I suppose, that's all we can do about it. But there's something will have to be done, won't there? But it's just,
Come on, Sarah. Move on. Join your working party, Sarah. Come along.
Hey, did you hear about the chief and me taking applications this morning? You should have seen their faces.
I can't say I'm surprised.
The governor's just had the idea of getting Louise Talbot, solicitor, to appeal.
Oh, well, it's only a fluke she's in here anyway. I mean, most of those women picked up for shoplifting are just put on probation.
I think she has a good chance.
Well, let's hope for the best anyway, shall we?
No comment, Miss Parrish?
I don't know the case.
Now, hold on. Just a minute. I want to work with you.
I'm rather busy.
That's just maybe. It won't take long. In here, please. Don't you think it's gone far enough?
What?
Oh, come on. You're a grown woman. All those snide remarks, that flouncing every time I appear.
I don't know what you mean.
All right. I'll spell it out for you. You want my job. You thought I was leaving at the same time as Faye, and you just can't stand the fact that I'm still here and you're not the deputy.
I never said...
No. But you made damn sure that everybody knows what you think.
Very well. If you want cards on the table. Of course I want to be deputy. It's something I've worked for many years. I was always told that your appointment was temporary.
So was I.
You say you want your own establishment.
Yeah.
But you were offered the governorship of a boys' Borstal and you turned it down.
Oh, get your facts straight, for God's sake. You know perfectly well that in the service you're not allowed to turn down an appointment. I was passed over. Because they wanted me to stay here and help see in the new governor.
But I thought...
You were so disappointed for yourself that you didn't think at all. Do you imagine it's the height of my ambition to play second fiddle to a woman? Especially this one. The first chance I get to be my own boss, I'll jump at it. In the meantime, I have a job to do here. So have you. And that comes first.
Are you there? Hey, Nosy, are you there? Come on, you old kid. Have you brought the stuff? Open up. I know you're there. I'm not bringing you any more. What's not right? I would never to have started it, and it's got to stop. Says who? No, I'll lose my pension. Be put inside myself. What are you whining about? It's only a bit of grass. Now you get it for me. Otherwise you know what'll happen. You hear?
All right, Effie, that'll do. Come on,
Take her
stand
to
back.
the
Right,
It wasn't me.
Ma'am, stand back. I'm coming in.
It wasn't me. She gave me things.
You'll be on governor's report in the morning.
I've put her in cellular confinement.
Well, how did you know about it?
I suspected Parker had been abusing her position. I've been watching her. Last night I asked Mrs. Armitage to watch with me.
Why didn't you tell me?
I wasn't at all sure.
Well, it could have been very dangerous. I understand she tried to attack Effie Parker.
She was stopped. You see, Mr. Radley, there are very few times that a man is actually needed here, whatever the Home Office may think. Yes,
I've just read the report on what happened last night.
Yes, well, I will ask for your comments later this morning.
Babs is one of the women on my wing. I think I should have been warned. And if you suspected something was going on, why didn't you stop it before
Because
it
I
went
had
too
no
far?
proof.
She says she was forced into it by the night orderly.
Yes, she says so. They're obviously both equally to blame.
Look, madam, they...
Governor? Why? No, slowly. Wait a minute. Say that again, slowly. Oh, well, get Dr. Mays there straight away.
What is it?
Lang's got hold of Shirley Phillips. She smashed the door and got her onto the roof.
Stand back, all of you. Stand back from this door, will you? Come on.
Get these women back to their work.
Excuse me.
Where's Dr. Mays?
He's in court giving evidence this morning, madam.
Lang did this?
What happened?
Shirley was sent to the hospital wing with some books. On the way she met Sarah Lang. Lang knocked out the officer in charge of her working party and broke through this door.
Where are they now?
On the tower. They climbed up onto one of the battlements.
But what are they after?
Well, Lang says if they're not allowed to share and if they're not released together, she's going to kill them both.
Could we rush them?
No, that would be very dangerous. She's only got to see someone moving in the courtyard and she threatens to jump.
Well, I'll try and keep her talking. Turn off the alarm, send for the fire brigade, and tell them no sirens.
Right.
I'm going up.
You're not going by yourself, madam.
All right, Mrs. Armitage, you can come with me.
Right, now you stay here, you lot, and keep quiet.
Yes, right.
Keep quiet.
Don't come any closer. Don't come near me or I'll jump. And take her with me.
I want to talk to you, that's all.
You'll trick me. You'll try and trick me.
No, no tricks. I just want to talk.
There's nothing to talk about. Keep her back.
Keep still, absolutely still. Careful, Sarah.
You know what I've asked for.
We have to discuss it.
You had your chance. You didn't listen.
I didn't understand how important it was to you.
You didn't care. And the others laughing. laughing when they took her away from me.
I'm sorry. Please, can't we talk about it?
Come on and keep in near the wall.
When's this fire ladder gonna get here?
What are you whispering about? Don't whisper.
We're waiting. Come on, Lang. You know you're not gonna jump.
You think I don't mean it? You think I'd let you take her away again? I'll show you. I'll give you till I count to 10. Till I count to 10.
You're frightening Shirley. You don't want to hurt her. Why don't you let her come to me, hmm?
I'm not making her do anything. You see? She's staying with me because she wants to.
Governor.
Shirley? Look. Yes, the girl's all right. The woman has been taken to an open hospital.
Yeah, you see, Shirley was only interested in the doll. She hadn't even noticed what happened to Lang.
How is Sarah?
Well, the blanket broke her fall, but she's badly concussed and her shoulder is smashed.
Well, it might have been much worse. Probably just as well that the fire brigade didn't arrive till it was all over.
She might have jumped before you were ready.
Well, she'd been dead for sure.
While we're all busy congratulating ourselves, may I remind you that it's little thanks to any of us that a very real tragedy was avoided? This whole business is a perfect illustration of everything I've found wrong with Stone Park. If these women had been properly screened, they would never have been allowed to share a cell in the first place. If there was adequate supervision, Sarah Lang would never have been able to attack an officer and find her way up onto the roof. And in the absence of any contingency plans, everything had to be improvised, and that could have been disastrous. And, Doctor, I don't exclude you from this. While we concentrated on the girl, the older woman was in greater need.
No, but I don't
The fact
consider...
that she was potentially dangerous to herself and others was not detected. And that will have to be brought out at the inquiry.
Well, one of us at least comes out of it with some credit. Janet Harker.
Yes. I'm very grateful. I intend to say so in my report.
Thank you, Governor.
You showed initiative. You were not afraid to make a difficult decision and act on it. I admire that. At first, I wasn't at all sure how well we would work together. Now I have no reservations. I'm very glad to have you on my staff.
I'm afraid I shan't be for much longer.
I beg your pardon?
I'm writing a letter of resignation. I'm leaving.
May I ask why?
I'm getting married.
You don't believe in mixing marriage and a career?
My fiancé is senior registrar at a hospital in Bristol. We shall live there.
I see. So it's all decided?
I've been trying to make up my mind for some time. Now it's been made up for me.
Oh?
I hoped to avoid saying this, Mrs. Forrester. But I'd never have left Stone Park while I could still believe in the work we were doing here.
And now you don't?
Well, we had the chance to create something unique. A prison system based not on reward and punishment, but on trust and understanding. Slowly, the old barriers were coming down, doors were opening. Not doors on the wings, but in people's minds. It took time and care.
It would.
In the short time since you've been here, those doors are closing. The women can feel it.
This is a prison, Miss Harker, not a dream factory. Anyone who thinks it ought to be is deluding herself.
Maybe I have been.
It's out of different opinions and attitudes that the best methods of working are found. I don't just want people who agree with me. I need someone like you, with ideas of your own to challenge mine.
No. You'd win. I haven't enough strength to stand up to you. And I don't want to wake up one morning and find that everything I believed in has vanished. And I've lost the chance of a good marriage.
Yes. Well, perhaps it's for the best. I can only say, if you'd stayed on a bit longer, you might have found that our objectives are not so very different after all.